Welcome to Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha, where you can listen to your favorite performers talk about their career, how they got started, and everything in between. Make sure to follow me at Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha on Instagram and also my main Broadway account at Broadway_Corner for updates on new episodes. Hope you enjoy! Hi everyone, welcome back to Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha. I am so happy you're here, and today we are speaking to Kemp from the hit Broadway show and Juliet, and he's performed on The Tonight Show, America's Got Talent, and the Tonys. It's Joomin Hwang!
Hi guys,
Yay!
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So happy to have you here. And for a little bit of background on Joomin, Joomin was born and raised in South Korea and grew up breakdancing before falling in love with musical theater. He attended the University of Wisconsin and soon after made his off-Broadway debut as TIMMY X in K-pop, which is one of my favorite shows, obviously. He then made his Broadway debut in the ensemble of the Prom, and he is the first native Korean in history to perform on the Tony Awards since 1947. And Joomin expands his career to screen as well. He filmed one episode as co-star in Iron Fist Season 2. He played the lead TOSHI in a featured comedy film Hail Mary, and in the Hollywood film Isn't It Romantic, he appeared as one of the featured dancers. And he also was in the Heights movie, which I obviously love as well. And he also organized the uplifting rally with Grace Aki. Yay!
Yeah, wow.
Kind of encapsulates all of your background.
Wow,
So
you did the research about me. Wow, thank you.
yeah, I always like to, do research and make sure that I know enough just to be able to talk to you about all your great accomplishments. Because I mean, just in that paragraph alone, so much has happened. And just
Wow,
like
yeah,
the past, decade or or just whatever is it's just
yeah,
incredible. So hi, Joomin. I've never met you before, but this is our first like virtual meeting. So how are
yes.
you?
I'm good, I mean, and Juliet, like Ashley mentioned, we just did the put-in. I'm understudying Francois. It's one of the principal role. So last Friday, I did a put-in for Francois, and that was like my first time hearing my own voice in Broadway theater with everything. It was very, very cool. And I'm exhausted, but I'm really happy, I'm doing really good.
Yeah, you're living the dream,
Yes,
doing a
yes.
Broadway show. Um, and so first, I think we need to really talk about the beginning of your Broadway career, because you've had a little bit of a different, path to get to Broadway and coming to America from South Korea. Can you talk us through like what it was like growing up and why how you discovered musical theater and why you eventually decided to come to America to pursue performing professionally?
Yes, wow. I need 3 days to like unpack out everything, but I make it short. So yeah, like you mentioned, I grew up as a break dancer, and I got serious in around like 20s. I started like compete like in Korea and like kind of Asia, and then I booked this job called like it's my first theater job, and I met my first acting coach. His name is Ko Chang-seok. Chang-seok, he's big movie star, Korean movie star. If you Google him, Ko Chang-seok, you maybe recognize his face. He's really good comedy actor, also like a good actor. And then I learned a little bit of acting from him, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And he was like, oh, there's this show called Breakout. You should audition for it. They will go like world tour. And I was like, world tour? I've never been out of country at that point. I was like, wow, that sounds really fun. So I auditioned for it and I got the job. That was called Breakout, and we did tryout in London, Peacock Theater. So I did a show, I think it was 2007, if I remember correctly, summer. So I was there for like 4 weeks and we did the show 2 weeks, and our show gave us tickets for Billy Elliot. And I had no idea of like musical theater, and I watched Billy Elliot, and this little Billy is doing everything on the stage, like singing, dancing, and acting, and he literally flies, like it's crazy. And I was like, oh wait, there's a whole world I have missed, and like I want to do this, like I want to be free like Billy. And after I got back to Korea and I started like learning how to sing and acting, and that's where I learned I was taught like I was good at dancing because singing and acting I wasn't good at it. I had really a hard time.
Mhm.
Anyway, took me really long time to get into college. I went to college, majoring in music when I think it was 28. American age, probably 20. It's complicated. Yeah,
Yeah.
Korean age, 28. Um, and I got into the music school finally, and I met Professor John, who changed my life. I always watching like Broadway clips, because my motivation was like if I aim high, I'll be somewhere higher, you know. So like if I watch all Broadway stuff, maybe I'll be the best in Korea. But, you know, who wouldn't be one of the best, you know. Anyway, she knew that I'm always watching like Broadway clips and stuff, and then she was like, one day, like middle of nowhere, she was like, Joomin, you should go this sister school or University of Wisconsin and try out Broadway. And I was like, but I don't speak English. I don't have money. And I don't know. It's just like it's not realistic for me. And she was like, that school is state university, so it's relatively cheaper.
Mhm.
And you learn English there, and you know the fact that you try out Broadway in your life or not trying out Broadway in your life, it will affect your career like exponentially, like big way in a big way. And I was like, that's actually makes sense. So even though if I will fail, I will learn so much from like just trying it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, talked about that with my parents, and they said, no, don't go, like you're too late. I was like at the point, I was sophomore, so I was like 29,
Mhm.
almost 30, like almost 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom was like, I think you're too old to do this. And I was like, but I don't know. I was doing actually like theaters in Korea. I did the theaters like 8 years at the point, and then
Mhm.
I was hitting almost 30, and like I feel like I wouldn't be successful. Like there's not enough opportunities for me, and I was like, should I give up on my dream, or like should I, or like what else I can do? And then that opportunity came. I was like, maybe this is my last hope. So
Mhm.
like I took that chance, like really, really bold choice. I packed everything in 3 months and came here and started learning English, um, in Wisconsin. It's like, so it was drastic environment change.
Yeah.
Um, First year, I didn't speak any. I was just listening. I was just exist, but I wasn't exist. I don't know if that
Uh,
makes sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just there. But yeah, I felt really lonely. I don't know. Well, it was I learned so much about myself during that time, just like listening to people and how I react, how I want to say, but I cannot say things. Like
Mhm.
it was kind of crazy time. Um, anyway, after that, yeah, I moved here. I try out Broadway, like yeah, and then step by step, and then I'm here. Yes.
Yeah. And I think just talking about how remarkable your journey has been is really important because coming to America, a little bit later than in life, just studying so hard and wanting to make your dream come true and learning English for heaven's sake, like that is in itself is really hard because like for me, I want to learn how to speak like Mandarin because I'm Taiwanese, but it's like just looking at it, it's so hard. And just the fact that you're able to come here and just succeed so much because of your talent and nothing else really mattered when you were just really good at dancing and what you did in acting and singing as well. It's just I don't know, I'm just like blown away by your story and your journey, and I think it's inspiration to everyone. It's like it's never like you can start from anywhere, and then still, if as long as you just work hard, it's like
Yes.
you can do it.
Yes. Yes. For me, I think what helped me the most is the challenges, like big challenges that I cannot avoid. You know,
Mm,
some challenges you can like, oh, I don't want to do this. You can just put that away. But the challenge I had was like I cannot avoid. I had to go through it, and then that really really made me grow so quickly. I think it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was really really hard, but yeah, it all paid off. My
Yeah.
times, yeah.
I mean, it really did. I mean, like 2 Broadway credits already, and like, you know, you just had too many shows that, you know, you couldn't do. So, I think we need to talk about now, like, what was the story behind, you know, doing K-pop? That was obviously one of your first like major gigs, like off Broadway, and then, you think a lot of people went with from Ars Nova to Broadway as well, like, and then you booked and Juliet. So like, can you tell that story of
Mm,
just what happened in that
yes.
dilemma of wanting to choose either one or the other?
Mm, yeah. Wow. That was one of the hardest decisions I ever made. So I started K-pop. I got involved K-pop from Ars Nova production. It was off-Broadway production, and um, that's still at the moment I was still really struggling with my English. I got so much better now, but like that was like 7 years ago, right? Wait, it's 5 years ago, 2017. Um, so like the fact that I could do a show that I could speak my mother language, like Korean, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Also, like I trained myself as triple threat. Like I really wanted to be triple threat, and K-pop musical is like the best thing I can do. Like
Yeah.
right, like you can do everything. You do everything. I was like, this is it. This. I have to do this. And thankfully I booked the job, and it was an amazing process. Everyone I met all the amazing people, and I spoke Korean in New York theater. How crazy is that? It was I'd never imagined in a million years that I would speak Korean in New York production. It was amazing. Yeah, and then we had a workshop after workshop, preparing to Broadway, and almost like I was gonna go with the Broadway. It was the thing, but then and Julia came up, and I just auditioned for it, and then they actually gave me understudy role that is usually not played by Asian. Um, and I it was like really hard because K-pop I would have bigger role in daily basis in the show,
Yeah.
but if I do and Juliet, I wouldn't be recognized if I would what I would be in K-pop, but I would play this non-Asian specific role principal, and as a native Korean, that never happened ever in history.
Yeah.
So I was like, like really like, okay, what should I do? And my final decision was like, okay, history making, and also I want to open more doors to like Asian people. So if I go to and Juliet, another Asian will have the opportunity to a Broadway show. So it's like a win-win for everyone, I thought. So I was like, okay, this is what I have to do, and that I chose that. And I I'm I think I made the right decision that yeah, I learned so much through this understudy process, and I think I grew so much. Now I've never confident on my singing and acting, but now I feel like, oh, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. So yeah, I'm really happy how everything, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and now you and Kate are both in the show together, who I had on my podcast
Kate is
like
here
in
now.
December, and
Yeah.
it's so cool seeing, and then it's also Jasmine, like so many, at least like a few Asian people in and Juliet, because
Hmm.
like I don't think it's not
We
really
have a lot of Asians.
specified. Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
just the amount of diversity and care that was really put into like the casting and just the people that are in that show is just really, I think it's amazing to see and amazing to also just for people to feel like, okay, I could be in and Juliet as well. And we don't have to limit ourselves to just like a show like K-pop, even
Hmm.
though that is incredible. It's like we can also do all the other shows and all the other roles as well. And you also being in the prom, like that's non-specific as well, and just trying to open doors for as many people as possible so that it doesn't have to be such a struggle anymore. It's just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to, I don't know, it's really cool that you're able to just be so confident in yourself now, especially understudying a principal role, which is no easy feat at all. um, and
Yes.
taking on a
Yes. Yeah.
monster, an absolute monster of a show, which is Juliet. It's just really cool. So I don't know,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
And I hope I can come see it sometime. It looks amazing.
Please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
And
really fun
talking about
show. Yes.
Juliet, like, what was your audition process like doing the workshops for K-pop while also auditioning? Like, was it initially a tape reading or, how did you get involved and were you first approached about the project?
I got invited for dance call. Um, it's the Jen Weber, choreographer. She's amazing. She's like doing everything right now. I don't know how she can do it. She's doing 5 projects at the same time. At that point, she was doing K-pop and Juliet. But the fun fact is, I was actually involved with and Juliet pre-production back in 2017 with Jen Weber before they opened in London. So I met Luke, our director, back like way back then. It was Luke and Jen. We did everybody, and we made like a little bit of dance. And then she was like kind of like pitching, "Oh, this is like my vibe." Yeah. Anyway, years later, so I got invited this dance call, and then of course Jen Weber knows all the freestylers in the U.S. She did it hip hop nutcrackers, and then her background I should just say they. And then like background is hip hop. So like I was there in audition, and then it's like a big, like we learned roar, which included 8 counts of freestyles, but we made it 2 8 counts, and then like it was like big dance cipher. Like everyone's like became like a dance off like with freestyle. So we learned whole dance number, and then we got called in again for like freestyle dance cipher, and that was never happened on Broadway, and it was the best thing ever. I could see everyone just dance off. It was so cool to seeing different dancers doing different styles, and it was so cool. It didn't feel like it was an audition. It felt like it was a party. And then I've never seen like 20 people behind the table watching you, try to get to know you, really trying to hire right people for the show. Like it never happened. And Juliet, there was like literally like tables and tables, 20 people was watching you. It was nerve-wracking, but they really care about the show, and they really care about who they want to hire. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. Like they really asking me like my personal questions, like, and then also like, yeah, very supportive room. They're like, it was amazing process.
Yeah, I think the auditions that just feel, good to you, like are always the kind of right projects when, you feel like you're appreciated as an artist. Like I've heard that with like from a few people's different stories about their audition processes and how sometimes it just becomes a kind of a collaboration or just a fun place to be instead of like cutthroat audition, everyone is, you need to be the best, or instead of just being you. And so that's really nice to hear that the Juliet process is so much fun and just a really good environment for cultivating like creativity and just collaboration as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song in Juliet to perform, whether it be for, Kemp or for Francois, like either one?
Ooh, for camp, I love to perform roar. It's really hard. But I'm never not singing. I'm always singing, even while I'm freestyling, and it's like really hard and it's cathartic. Like you feel good after that. Like you end up like, oh, boom! You're like, I did it. Like I did it. It feels so good. Like yeah, that's like roar is always like I'm looking for to do it, and then like after that I'm like I did good today. It gives me like feeling good energy. For Francois, I really like What Do You Want From Me, because it's like um I don't know, there's just a lot going on in with May, and he's in like really like hard spot that like trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Mhm.
Um yeah, it's 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 yeah, those two songs I really like.
I know I wish I knew more of the show to understand but once I see it, I'll be like, okay, that's Jimin's favorite
Yes.
songs to do. And since the costumes are so fun, like, do you have a favorite costume to wear in either of the scenes? In the
Yeah. So and Juliet made everyone players. So friends, principals, ensemble players, and we all have our names. So the maybe I can talk about the show a little bit. What it's about? It's about Romeo and Juliet, and William Shakespeare is writing ending of Romeo and Juliet with his wife Anne Hathaway, and the players were actors in the Shakespeare company inside of the show.
Mhm.
So we're as they're writing the show, we're playing the roles as players
Uh-huh.
inside of the Shakespeare company. That's why we are players. We all have names. Um, yeah, and then the first costume I'm wearing is like the chains, this gold chains,
Mhm.
yellow like a leather jacket. It's really really cool. That is my favorite outfit. It's like chains here to like down here. It's just like when I'm dancing, it's like it's shiny, sparkly. Um, yeah, and also I like there's a costume for Blow. It's like a very like I don't know, like very elegant. Like there's a pearls, like
Mhm.
and same kind of like same idea. There's like a chain, and now it's a pearl, like chains of
Oh, uh-huh.
with the white like cream color. It's like really elegant, graceful, and I think I like those two costumes the most
Mhm.
equally. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool. The costumes are really cool.
Yeah, I know. I keep seeing pictures and I'm just looking at them like, whoa, that is like, it's very different than I think what you could do with a show like this. And it's just very imaginative and very, just really unique and awesome and special to
Hmm.
each person as well, where, it's not, it's like each person kind of has their own personality, especially having, being in the ensemble, but you each have names and each have distinct, fashion and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff, and kind of in a similar way to K-pop, where everyone kind of
Hmm.
it's like a group effort, but everyone looks different and unique, and but you come together as one
Yes.
unit to accomplish
Yes.
the same goal. And so I always love it when shows do that because it just makes
Yes.
everyone seem so special. And you could watch one
Hmm.
person and just see a completely different show every single time, where uh
Yes.
instead of just like, a regular ensemble where everyone is in the same costume and doing a kick line or,
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever. I just love it when people get to bring out their uniqueness, because I think
Yes.
in ensembles, everyone is their own person.
Right. They're working really hard, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and deserves to, be
Yes.
their own person and be unique. Um, and for you, since you've been in & Juliet for now quite a while, I guess, like, I mean, you did Toronto and you did,
Hmm.
now on Broadway, like, do you have any backstage rituals at all, or backstage things that you just love to do when you're
I
backstage?
I have so many things. When you're doing a show, like you make a little bit of like interaction with everybody. Wow, I have so many. Um, the first thing I do actually, it's like I'm like kind of like saying, so I go on the stage, and then like I say, Jumin's here, and like that became a kind of joke. So like, because every like our stage managers asking like who's here, like they're asking, oh, is like Virgil here, is Jasmine here, and I was like, I'm here. And so like I was like starting, oh, Jumin's here, before they asked me, like I was like, oh, okay, and then it became like Jumin's here, and then people say, oh, Jumin's here, and Jumin's here, Jumin's here, like, and then like sometimes I'm not there, like, oh, Jumin's not here, like it became like kind of joke. So I really like that. I have like a lot bunch of moment with the crews, like opening curtains for me, like I have like high five, and like we're like doing like a little moment. I have a little bit of like dance moment with Betsy. in Show Me Love. Before Show Me Love, I'm taking out benches out, and like we have like it's really fun. Yeah, there are so many. There's so many.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because the other day I was talking to Abraham from K-pop and I asked him if he had any rituals or backstage things that he did, and he just was like, "Nope." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
Yeah. Just like it's so interesting to see how different people either prepare for the show or just doing the show, having little moments where it's just fun.
yes.
Getting to, just connect with the people on the stage instead of just like staying in your own little world.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, we
yeah,
we all have different like way to prepare the show. Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm like so bummed that I haven't seen it yet because it sounds so much fun. My friend Eli got to see it
Really fun
already.
show.
He was just telling me all about it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it seems amazing."
Mm,
Because I mean, it's just it's a new thing that we haven't really had on Broadway in a little bit. And so that's really fun. And talking about real quick, like the prom, that was
mm.
obviously your Broadway debut. Like, what was it like for you to make your Broadway debut in the prom? I think did was it 2018 or 2019? I don't know, but it was like, what was that feeling like to kind of feel like you accomplished your goal of making it to Broadway?
Yes. So it happened 2018. Our opening was November 15th, but our first preview was I think it was around Halloween, I think. Yeah. Um, you know, I I didn't think I would actually make it to Broadway. I was auditioning because before the prom, I was going to auditions, but like it was I'm not very good at theater dance or like a ballet, like strong like choreography. So I didn't like hit good auditions that until that point. And I was like, wow, Broadway is hard, like wow. I was lucky to do a K-pop. So like, is there any other shows like K-pop or maybe In the Heights, something similar? I mean, Hamilton was around, but yeah. And then Prom came in, and then the style of choreography is like, oh, this is my vibe, and I auditioned for it, and I was like, I have really good feelings about this show, and like I got the phone call like that I booked a job. I was like, oh my God. I was like crying. I called my mom right away. Um, Told her that like 엄마, mom in Korean. I booked the job. And like yeah, I dreamed for this like 11 years at the point, and I was like, wow, it's happening. It's happening. And then actually in the process, I was really behind because of the language barrier. I was like, I try to catch up, and so I was mentally really busy
Mhm.
because I didn't want to mess up. It was like my Broadway debut, and I was really like busy catching up, like lyrics, like I have like two or three times more to take, like learn the
Yeah.
lyrics, and like I was like often recording whole day if I
Mhm.
miss any information, because sometimes because my brain is so busy when people talk to me, I just couldn't listen to it. So like yeah, and I was so busy, and I was like working, and then it happened, and the first day of the preview, Casey Nicola, Casey Nicola,
Yeah.
um, uh, like made announcement when the curtain was down. He came uh, out of the curtain, and it was like, "Oh, thank you for coming. Talking about the show, yada, yada, yada." And then we have 13 Broadway debuts. Oh, it's all coming out, and it was like we didn't know that happened. It was like, wait, what? What? And we all came out
Yeah.
of the curtain, and then people like standing ovation to us. Like it was like I can still see everything. The
Mm.
moment, like I can feel everything, and I was crying because I was there. Like this, actually, I don't know if you see this.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. I remember I kept seeing videos of that moment when it happened.
so This
Oh
is
my
the moment.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone took photo of me and made it a canvas.
Mhm.
And yep, sure.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Oh my
My
gosh, that is so cool that you have it's like framed it. I mean, not framed, but made into a canvas. That's so cool. I remember seeing like videos that people had taken of that moment and just being like, that is so special that they gave you that time to just like enjoy the moment instead of just like, let's do the show, like you got to
yeah,
just stand up there and receive the applause that you obviously deserve because of all your hard work. Yeah.
yeah. And prom was physically really hard show. So I was like, and then I didn't know what it takes to be a Broadway performer back
Uh-huh.
then. Stamina. You need a stamina. And I was like dying for like first 3 4 months to
Mm.
like to getting the stamina. And then after that, I was like, okay, I think I can do this 8 times a week. Um, yeah, and I built the stamina, so I feel like I'm in a good spot now. I don't know. It was prom was really heartwarming show with a good message, with a good building, with amazing people. I was so lucky making my Broadway debut with the prom, with all the good people, and learned like good things, right things to do. Like yeah, yeah. It was amazing experience with the Tony Awards. That was my first
Yeah.
time. It was crazy, and I was like still like starstruck with all the people I'm seeing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm doing with this like these people. Wait, what? And then all the people coming to the backstage. Like it was crazy. I was like a little kid, like always happy, like seeing all these cool people around me, and like
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I remember because I had wanted to see it for like months and before I had seen it, I had listened to the album and everything, and so getting to see the amount of joy and just happiness in the show and like you said, the good message. And I remember my dad turned to me, he's like, "Wow, that's like really intense choreography." I was like, "Yeah, that is absolutely crazy." And so I mean, I guess in a way, it just prepared. It just like you have to experiment a little bit with how you yourself like get to deal with 8 shows a week because like it was really hard. And now I'm sure you're a pro at it because you've been doing it for so long and just that's super cool to hear how your Broadway debut was just such a positive experience because I think everyone deserves that. If you're getting there, you should have, just a perfect time of just being able to really enjoy the moment.
Mhm. Yeah, so like because like sometimes, like when the moment, the dreams come true moment actually happen, I feel like it's, because there's so much going on around you, like you actually don't feel that, like, wow, I'm living in my dream. So I was like, I kind of like remind myself that also like I have to give like me permission to like enjoy it. Like other than that, like I don't know, the real it's a life. It's like a real life now. It's your job. Like it's kind of like you feel like you just try to survive. You know what I mean? Like so yeah, I think it's important for people to know, like pursuing this, that um, even though so many things are happening, you really have to remind yourself that enjoy and
Mhm.
like just take it in, because otherwise you're so busy,
Mhm.
doing all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, you get kind of lost in it because and then you forget that it's your dream.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And for you, like, I mean, you got to perform on the Tony Awards for the first time
Yes.
and be one of the first like native Korean actors to make that moment for a long time.
Yes.
What did it feel like to be in Radio City and get to just like dance, so much and because I've heard sometimes people are like black out or like don't remember a single thing, but how was it for you?
Um. So Tony schedule is like really hard, like
Mhm.
up like leading to that point. And Tony, the day is we go to the Radio City. Our first of all, our call was like, I think it was like 5 a.m. We go to the theater, get ready. We take on a bus, I think it's around 7, and go to the Radio City around 8. And then we start the dry camera rehearsal with all the shows that performing. And we all gather in the audience, and you see all these cool people. And I saw Kelly O'Hara, Eva, like, oh, like, I was like, oh my gosh. Ah! And then after that, all the camera rehearsal, probably done around noon. You go back to theater, lunch, you have matinee show, and then you get ready again after the show, go to the Radio City, waiting for your time to come, and you do perform, right? And then we are like I think for everyone, it's like really tired day until the show comes, like your time comes, and for me, like I've never performed at Tony Awards, so I didn't know what it would be like. And then I was on the stage, and then we performed "Tonight Belongs to Us," and with the national with the song. And then I was waiting in the back, and the panel opens up. So we revealed, and then we don't know what's in front of us, right? Also, so when it opened up, I saw the Radio City audience, and it was like huge theater, 6,000 seats.
Yeah.
Like filled with people, like full of people. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I saw Billy Porter, like over there, Lucy Liu, like, ooh, okay, I'll focus. And then I did a show. And then like everyone, 6,000 people, like standing ovation, wave of people like standing up, like it was crazy. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was like it's really like, yeah, it filled my heart so much. It was like, wow, this is the best thing that happened in my life. And like, yeah, it was, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and the Prom was obviously such a special show. And for you, like, what was it like to represent, not only just Korean people, but also just Asian Americans? Because I remember when I saw it the first time, I was like, wait, there's an Asian person in the show too? I was like, wow. Like, I could not believe it. And I just remember you with like your hat, and just like,
Yes.
I kept kind of pinpointing you in a way of just like, wow, like I didn't know about like that I could be technically in that show, or just as a person of color, being like an Asian person. It's harder to find yourself on stage, but seeing you, it was like, okay, like everything made a little bit more sense. So what was it like to you, knowing that you were inspiring, I'm sure, so many other people, other Asian people who are younger, or just other people in the audience?
Yeah, so I grew up in Korea, so I didn't know what minority meant and what representation meant until I did the prom. Because when I did the prom, I didn't know I was representing, and but I got a lot of like messages from Asian people that, oh, thank you for representing us. Like it means a lot. I can see myself on the stage now. I'm so glad they have Asians in this show. Like, and I was like, I kept getting the messages, and I see the people, and also the prom is representing LGBTQ community, and I see like young kids coming to the show, like bawling out, crying, and like with happiness. I think, and it was such a strong experience for me. And I was like, wow, I'm not only dancing and singing and acting, which I like. I have a little more. Like I have a mission. Like I have something more than I think I have. And like since then, representation, I understood that what like I cannot speak, representation meant. And I am now trying to break as many walls as possible, like other people here, trying to do not only their career, but also try to break the walls to more people can be included, you know? So, yeah, it's been really, really great experience, and were very, very supportive of me being on the stage, and I was really happy to getting all the messages. You know, it was really, yeah, it gave me purpose to do better job on the stage, because like I have to do this like 100% because the people are watching, you know,
Mm.
people like me who wants to be on the stage watching me probably. So I'm like, yes, this is for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and because you didn't know before, like when you came to America from Korea, like because you didn't quite know how much like representation was lacking here, probably, and like how much of a barrier that was. Like, did you feel that pressure of not knowing if you would get cast because of either being Asian or just I don't know. I guess did you see that as a barrier before
Yeah.
you knew about it?
So like because I grew up, yeah, like I said, I didn't know what binary meant. I went auditions, like all the auditions, like
Hmm.
people usually don't go kind of auditions, you know. Mm, now it's changed so much, but like when I first moved here, like 2007, no, wait, 2015, yeah, we moved to the New York City, and I went to like West Side Stories, you know, like I don't know, like some like, and I saw that when I was dancing, they don't even looking at me, like, you know. I was like, I mean, at the point I didn't know, but then later on I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense because there's no Asians in the show, or maybe that's why it's not me. Maybe that's why. And then I slowly started to understanding
Hmm.
that part of process, and I
Yeah.
was like, but then I still went every audition possible because for me, back then my time was ticking because I didn't have at that point like artist like green card, which
Mm.
is you can work. I had like 1 year temporary work visa, which
Yeah.
is if you don't work in that period of time, you will go back to country. You go back to your own country. If you do work, some whatever that is, then you can apply to next level, which is artist visa. It's O1 visa that will give you 3 years to work in the US.
And
But it's not.
I think Jin was talking about that for K-pop, like how important that show was
Yes.
staying here.
So for me, I didn't have any choice but go to every audition possible to get any job possible so I can stay here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was what project finally allowed you to just get that I guess the artist green card to stay in America?
Actually, my love, my wife.
Oh.
When I was doing, I think it's right before K-pop. I was gonna apply artist visa,
Mm.
and then it's expensive. Like it's very, very expensive. And we've been together, I think like 5 years at the point. Yeah, and then I was like, wow, this is so much money that I just throwing away for trying to stay here in 3 years. Yeah, I don't know if I can make it back in, but like, you know. And
Mhm.
then my wife back then, my girlfriend said, why don't you spend that money to me and we're getting married? I was like,
Oh.
are you proposing to me like this way? um, yeah, so we got married, and I got green card through marriage.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, and she saved my life. She saved my dream, and yeah, she's my lifesaver.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like such a heartwarming story, and I mean, I think in the way that you were saying how she just was like, why don't we just get married? It kind of reminds me of like Mui and Junie in
Yes,
K-pop. I'm like, why don't we get married?
yes, yes.
It's like, just doing it because you just out of the love for each other. That is like, I don't know, the best story possible, I think, of just,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I think because she's been like witnessed me struggling so hard because of the visa. Maybe she got sick of it. Like, let's just give him just, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
No, yeah, that's like the best story. And speaking of K-pop, now I do need to talk about K-pop because my entire podcast up to this point has been about K-pop, and it's just been
Mm,
all of the people in the show and you being a part of the Ars Nova, and then especially being on Broadway now. I knew I had to talk to you about, all of the different shows and projects that you've been
mm.
a part of. And so how did you first get involved with K-pop? I've heard so many different ways, but what was your specific experience?
So I got invited call. Later I found out Sujin, our music director, found me through social media, and then she
Oh.
was like, "Oh, let's bring him in." So I got in, and then I sang K-pop song for an audition. Are you kidding? Like it was like the best thing. And I sang God Sevens. 네가 하면, I don't know if you do. The English name is If You Do. Um, but in Korean it's 네가 하면. I sang that song. I danced. I it was casting director Sujin, Helen, Max, Vernon,
Nice.
and Teddy. I think they were at the table. Um, yeah, and then I got the news. It was amazing news. That was like my first big gig ever I did in New York City, and I was like, I can get my equity card in. How amazing it is, you know? Like I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I got into the room. I met Jinu, who is my best friend, who came from Korea as well. Like we talked so much. We're like, and also I met so many Asian people. So I did a show, Rizal in the Heights, right before that,
Mhm.
and then going into the room, like whole Asian cast. That's like I just realized, wow, it's just like they just get you. Like you don't have to explain anything. Like you just like you just this is so comfortable. Like you're so welcoming. Just like you can just go there, like without any anything. It's just like it was this amazing experience. Like everyone was so freaking talented. I was like, where did you find all these people?
Yeah.
And then my like K-pop idol dream, I kind of like lived through it, and it was
Yeah.
so fun, like being on like idol on the stage. And then Ars Nova, it was immersive experience. So like audience were very close, like very very close.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like and then it was like they go to like three different parts, and then you follow boy group, girl group, and solo artist, and then they just kind of like switch it around, and then you later on you gather this one spot to watch concert. And like the first day, I think first preview, we couldn't like matching our time
Oh, yeah.
together. It's like our run was like 3 hours and a half or
Oh
something.
my
It
god.
was it was crazy. And then for us, because we repeat same thing 3 times a day, like a show. So 2 show days, we doing same thing 6 times. So it was like, wow, I feel like we're doing so much. But yeah, the meeting the audience is really close. I feel like it was more like a TV, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Because like
Yeah, a little
theater
bit.
is like you feel you kind of like in this zone. Your audience is like over there. But this, I feel like we're here, and then audiences were here with
All right.
us.
Yeah, like elsewhere.
Yes, and I feel like they're watching like reality TV show,
Yeah.
and we feel like I'm in the reality TV show as an idol. As it was a really unique experience. I think that's why it was really really successful.
Mhm.
People love the show. We were sold out in Taiwan. Yeah, and then Ashley Park, our movie back then, like now like Hollywood star. She's
I
like
know.
is so inspiring. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Mhm. And so many talented people have come from that show. I mean, just like I mean, especially with all the people that did go to Broadway with it, just getting to know like them as a person and seeing what their journey was like kind of similar to yours. It's just it's so different how it happened, and it all happened in the right timing, because the right people all
Mm.
came and were able to do it. And for you, like, was there some did you actually get to see it on Broadway, or was it like because of the Anne Juliet schedule you couldn't?
I
Or
actually got to watch it because
oh,
there's a one, I think it's there's one day that we all got to watch it. So we had 2 days, Monday shows.
mm.
We have two groups watch the show. Yeah,
Well,
it was
that's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to know. I was like, I hope that you got to see it, because I got to see it on the last two performances for K-pop. And
Mm,
so just seeing it, it like changed my entire life. I was like, oh my God.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good. It was like a concert. It was like I'm in a really fun concert
Hmm.
with like, yeah, I think it's also similar because it's a circle in the square. It's the audience is really close and very intimate. So
Yeah.
like I didn't do the show, so I cannot speak them for them. But I feel like it was also kind of like reality TV show that you're in it. You're
Hmm.
just watching that when it happens. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
And
was.
was there something either from Ars Nova or from workshops that like didn't make it to Broadway that you wish it had?
Actually, it became a whole different show.
Hmm.
It's a different show, I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah, so like, yeah, it's
Because I
just
know, because I was talking to Jinyu, and he was saying how there was a moment where he like drew a line, and like, you had to choose what side you're on, and
oh
he wished like
yes.
he wished that that could somehow have been put into the new iteration, because I know Fate
Mhm.
is very similar to what it was in Flight,
Yes.
like to the Ars Nova, where
Hmm.
the other ones really changed a lot.
Yes.
So there, like, I mean, there's nothing that you would really want people
Um,
to do.
Actually, there was a more interaction with, I mean, not more interaction. In our Snowball production, I was secretly dating with
Mm,
one of the Artemis, and we had that in the show. I'm like secretly giving her like a letter, like where we have a little bit of like scenes together.
mhm.
Um, so like, oh, yeah, I wish there's more connection with boys and girls. Like, it would be fun, right? And
Yeah,
like, um. Yeah, in Arsenal, everyone has their own moment in the room. So like if you go to boys group track first, you go, you just choose wherever you want to go to. Actually, you get this wristband
yeah. Mhm.
whose name's on, and then you go the names on their room, and then like there's their own room. There's like talking about themselves, what they like. It's like just having fun with people.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that time back in Ars Nova. And there's were cool people coming to my room, like a Tina Fey was in my room,
Oh,
like it was a really fun thing to do. So
uh,
and it's hard because Broadway theater, it's you cannot do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
I completely wish I could have like gone and seen it. I mean, that was when I was like first getting into theater, 2017. So like I had no idea, and I obviously live in California, so it's like it's a little bit hard. But
mm,
also I heard that for Timmy X, like I someone said that his monologue thing in the dressing room is done
mm.
completely in Korean with no obviously no translation. Like, can you talk about what it meant to you to just speak your own language, being Korean, just to people whether or not they understood it, and just getting to share that.
Yeah, I was like when Jason Kim um wrote that, I was like, is this gonna be okay? Because people would understand, and I was like, maybe they will understand the context, and then I think it's really cool for
Mhm.
people to. For Ars Nova, I think it's more Korean. I think, yeah, there's a lot of Korean in boy bands track.
Mhm.
So people will be like, wait, what? And then trying to like follow what's going on. And I think it's the context they kind of figure out, oh, this is what he would say, like might say. And then you feel the sort of the emotional arc. And yeah, and then for my monologue, it was like 100% Korean in
Mhm.
Ars Nova. And
Yeah.
then when I did a workshop for Broadway, it was like halfway Korean and halfway English.
Oh.
Yeah, and Jason Kim is really good at bring what you are good at, but what this actor is good at, and then bring that out the best.
Mhm.
So I think that's why Jason Kim wrote Korean monologues for me, because I'm from Korea, and in Korea, yeah, I can speak Korean better than English. Also, I have to admit that back then I didn't have, I think, capability of speaking English lines I can deliver to audience. I was still learning
Mhm.
English. Like, yeah. So yeah, and Broadway production, Josh Lee, amazing Josh Lee.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think Jason Kim is writing TIMMY X for Josh Lee, Josh, and then he brought it. I think it was in English, everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it worked. It worked perfectly because it's Josh and Josh TIMMY X now. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
then there was obviously Joomin TIMMY X, and how similar was TIMMY X to yourself? Like in because I know a lot of characters in K-pop are taken from the person that is playing them, like with Abraham and the living born and raised in Queens line, and you like how you being a awesome breakdancer and doing all of that, like how similar is TIMMY X to yourself? Is there any difference?
It was like, I would say it was like 90% me,
Mhm.
because that's what Jason Kim is good at. Just bring you out to like this character. Like he's really good at like making this character feels like you, you
Mhm.
know. So it wasn't. I've never felt that in, because I always like try to fit myself to this character. So it was kind of like uh what's the word? It's like you oh, eye-opening experience. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I can do also this way to find
Mhm.
character. Um, yeah, it was a really fun, really cool experience.
Yeah, and since you grew up in South Korea and you're Korean, like what does it mean? What did it mean to you to be debuting off Broadway in a show that celebrates your own heritage through your art?
Like when I'm like, to be honest, when K-pop was like becomes big worldwide, I was like, actually like in denial, kind of like, because it's like I don't wanna, I don't know, like I wanna like support hard, and it's just like a like temporary thing, and I'm not be like, be sad about it later. And I was like also like, it was like kind of weird that I don't know, it was weird for me. Like it became worldwide phenomenon. I was like, okay, okay. And then the K-pop show is doing it. I was like, wow, this really is like a thing now. And I I was like, I was doing the show, and I was like, it was kind of funny that I came here to like to like kind of learn Western culture, but I didn't ever think I could bring my culture to here. I'd never thought that could be possible.
Mhm.
And when that happened, I was like, wow, I have to do this right. Like I have to do this right way. So like I worked really hard for it, and then it's just like the responses that we got was just amazing. So like it made me really proud of like what we all did together, and then I was really happy and like kind of like amazed that, oh, the reverse can happen. Like
Uh-huh.
my culture can come here and do the show with authenticity. Like it was like, oh, kind of like I kind of uh like gave me like centered moment, like, oh, like I was like just try to catch all the things that I don't have, but then this experience, like, oh, I actually don't have to do only that. I can
Mhm.
just I can actually bring myself to this table. That, yeah, so so K-pop taught me that, so I'm really thankful. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you have a favorite like number to perform in K-pop? Because I think Jinyu said America. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's America. Yeah,
That must
it's a
seem to be
good
the
number.
favorite.
It's a good number. Yeah, it's a really cool dance. Yeah.
No, I'm like, I mean, I'm not judging from like the, all the pictures I've seen from off Broadway. Like, it just had such a different vibe than it was on Broadway, but it's like a cool but different vibe
Mm-hmm.
than what it became. I wish like there was some way to like go back in time and watch
Watch it.
it.
Yeah.
'Cause it just seemed like so much fun and such a different experience than what it ended
Mm.
up becoming, and when helped or I think you said you helped organize the Uplifts Asian on Broadway rally with Grace, and, like, I remember seeing you and you were just having, like, a blast. You're just having so much fun, and, since you've had such a deep history with the show, how did it feel for you to just be observing so many either Asian or non-Asian people just enjoying the music and a musical that you were a part of for so long.
Um, so like uh after we heard the news, the K-pop is abruptly closing, and I was like, I wasn't ready for that, and I was, I, it's just like so out of my control, and like, uh, I was, oh my gosh, I was just processing it, like them, the K-pop cast,
Mhm.
and then Grace, who's working for AKA New York, is uh, marketing for Broadway company. She's actually working for Juliet, so we know
Oh.
each other. But Grace Aki is also Asian American.
Mm.
Um, so she messaged me, oh, I'm actually thinking about doing this, uh, like uplifting K-pop people, gives them some like love that we care, they show them we care about this show, that people are actually here to support this show. So I was like, I'm in. Like, just let me know what I need to do. And so like we kind of like I just spreaded words and like asked people to come. Like, and then I actually didn't know that many people would come,
Mhm.
but it was like packed.
Yes.
It's
No, it's
packed
so
with
crowded.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, so many people from Broadway came, like support, try to like came to support K-pop, and like like couple news stations, yeah, and then Grace and I bought snacks for K-pop people, or like bunch of Korean snacks, and we kind of like hand out to some people in that alley way. Yeah, it just made me happy to like see them like just being there celebrating Asian, you know.
Mhm.
It's just yeah, we need more. We need more of that. Yeah,
Yes. No,
yeah,
like if not bring K-pop back, just make sure that there's more projects like this because I think there was such a profound positive effect on anyone who saw it. I know for me especially, I had actually flown on like I flew to New York just to see it before it closed, and so it meant so much to me. And then to see you like turn around and see Jumin just hanging out, I was like, oh my god. And like, James and everyone was just like having a good time and that experience was super fun because that was right before I saw the show for the first time, and so they were playing all the music and stuff too.
mm.
And then like to see me just like
Oh,
yeah, it was my first time hearing most of those. I'd only heard like maybe 4 of the songs, 5 of the songs, and so like having, my mind was just like blown. I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
yeah,
And to see so many people supporting it was really special, and the fact that you did that for the cast was is so just so kind of you. I mean, you of course have a crazy schedule being in Juliet as well,
yeah,
and to just take the
yeah,
time to just help out your friends is
yeah.
that's
They're
really
like my family, you know. So like yeah, I really care about them and the show and people who in the creative team, and yeah.
Yeah, it was a special one. Hopefully it can come back at some point. And maybe you
Yeah.
can be in it at some point too. Another iteration. Uh,
Yeah.
and for you, Jumin, recently you were a part of the Broadway Asian Men calendar. And
Oh,
for you, like for me, it was inspiring to see so many people using their voice not only to just advocate for representation and visibility on Broadway, but also showing like, through the calendar that Asian men can be sexy, contrary to what most people see.
yes.
But just what was that time for you like being able to get it, just getting to show who you are through, just that positive energy and just being yourself.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was really flattered when they reached out to me as a sexy Asian man calendar. I was like, wait, what? But actually, like this, I mean, starting that last year, I was focusing on like I wanna be more on an impact. So I wanna be like a more of like principal role on Broadway. As an Asian man, it's not easy thing to do, right? So I was working on it, and then I kind of found it that I need to trust myself. Like I need to believe that I can do it. I can be sexy. I can be hot, which I didn't think I could. And I was trying to believe that I was trying to like taking photos with like a good photographer friends and like to make some like to see that my image, try to make my image to like more like a leading man, like,
Yeah.
and then when that happens, I was like, okay, yeah, I should believe that I'm hot. I should believe that I can be a sexy Asian man. So there was kind of like really um kind of like boost confident moment for me. Of course, I was nervous doing all the things. I was like, oh my God, am I gonna look okay? But um, yeah, our photographer, Marie, she was amazing, and it was like very well, like comfortable. She made me really comfortable doing things, and like made me feel like I'm a sexy man. So it
Yeah,
made it
you were
easy.
like, I saw you were like kind of dancing as well, like taking pictures and stuff, and just
Hmm.
being in your element of like, what you're comfortable with. And
Hmm.
that's what the best photographers do is too as well. Is just make you feel comfortable in your own skin and able to just like show off, but just in like in a good way, to just
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
highlight yourself and show people who you are as a person too.
Yeah. So yeah, I was so happy that I was able to do it. Um it's like hardly see myself in the calendar because like I don't know, like, you don't want to see yourself. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's like it was also like stacking. I'm trying to stack up my confidence to become a that I want to believe that I can be a lead on Broadway. So like yeah, it was a very good thing for me to have as a confident booster, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, do you have the calendar hanging up somewhere in your house or
it's there, but it's not hanging yet. So
Yeah.
have to, yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm like, so everyone listening, make sure you go buy it. It's online. Just look at
yes, it's you can buy it from Broadway Asian Man calendar, BroadwayAsianMan.com.
yeah, just look it up, it'll come up, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And for you, Jumin, like what is your advice for young Asian kids who want to pursue performing?
Um, First of all, never give up. Just never give up because time will only come if you don't give up. Sometimes, some people it comes early. Sometimes, some people it comes late, but it only comes if you don't give up, right?
Mhm.
Um, so just trust your journey, trust that the time will come, and just work as hard as possible. Just work your everything. You put your everything into it, and make it grow. See the beautiful growth and just appreciate it, and then just be thankful, and just don't focus too much on what you don't have. Focus way more what you have and what you have done so far, because usually you get lost. Always thinking about what you don't have, you always feel not happy, and you don't feel accomplished, right? Also, don't compare yourself to other. That's really, really important, because like human instinct, you just naturally compare yourself to other. It's 1 millisecond, you're like, oh my gosh, he's way better than me, but just, it's a practice. You need to practice this. It takes long time than you think to actually have it in your life. Like, so practice that really, really. And once you have it, then you can focus on your own craft. You will feel so much freedom. You feel like a lot of zen, like you feel way more centered. I promise you. And uh, unless people you really care about you, or like people around you, everything other it's wind. It comes and goes. It doesn't stay. So what's really important is you and what you have, what you building, the people you have. So just trust that, and just work to put everything you have and work on your craft.
Yeah, I think that's perfect advice. It's if you have the passion and you put in the work, anything can happen. You just have to
Yes, you never know what's gonna come to you. Like life will bring you amazing things.
Yeah,
I
everything
would
that is
never
going to happen will
I
happen.
would never imagine I would do this here. I'm doing everything not right now. Like 10 years ago, I had no idea. I didn't even see what's coming in month later. Week later, I was working in a restaurant job. Like I cannot even like plan myself to like what, but just like if you work really, really hard, life will bring you all the good stuff.
Yeah. Always great advice to just to stay true to yourself and work hard. And lastly, like, how can everyone who's listening find you on whether it be Instagram or TikTok, and how can we continue to support you on your amazing journey?
I have Instagram, Joomin Hwang, JOOMIN HWANG. Follow me, you can find everything from there. Yeah.
Make sure TikTok with all the TikTok dances and just
Yes.
that's so much fun. But yeah, thank you so much, Jumin, for being here today and just talking to me about the 3 different shows that have really changed so many people's lives. I mean, you've been a part of 3 very big projects that are just so special to so many people. And thank you to everyone who's going to be listening to this episode. I'm just so grateful that you're everyone here is listening, and that I can keep continuing to spread joy through my podcast, because I think I have so much passion for this, and that's just all I really want to do, is I just want to share that with everyone else. So thank you for coming and listening to Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha.
Ashley Hart, thank you for doing this. Thank
Thank you.
you.
And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha and Broadway_corner. Make sure you're following Joomin as well at Joomin Hwang on, any platform you can find him on. And well, see you next time. Thank you so much.
See you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Broadway Corner with Ashley Ha and at Broadway_corner. And also make sure you're following Joomin at Joomin Hwang on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening.